Recently, Robert Herrick's poem called "To the Virgins Should Take Much of Time" is popular among people. Before we discuss about it, let's watch a movie clip related to it.
Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. The Latin term for that sentiment is carpe diem. Now, who knows what that means?
Carpe diem. That's seize the day.
Seize the day. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Why does the writer use these lines? Because we are food for worms, lads. Because believe it or not, each and every one of us in this room is one day going to stop breathing, turn cold, and die.
It is a scene from a movie called Dead Poor Society. It mentions to the virgins to make much of time, to refer the term carpe diem, which is also the theme of the poem too. Let's look at the poem together. The background song will be the song of this poem called Gather Your Rosebuds While You May, which is so popular that it is sung by many people nowadays. Thank you for the detailed explanation.
You're welcome. I hope my explanation helped people better understand the poem. Also, it was an honor for me to explain Harry's poem, who I respect the most.
Before we meet Robert Herrick, I will briefly introduce him. Robert Herrick, born in August 24, 1591, graduated from Cambridge University. He became a pastor of the Church of England in 1623, but he was more interested in writing poetry than in the clergy. So he had many conflicts between preachers and poets. Now he is a cavalier poet, and he is writing a lot of sophisticated and pastoral lyric poetry. And today we got a chance to talk with him. Hi Herrick, how are you?
Excellent.
I have 4 questions for you. Are you ready to answer?
Sure, go ahead.
Before getting to the serious questions, why did you write this poem?
To the virgins to make much of time, this is a representative poem that I sang Carpe Diem. In the present time, there was the Black Death that killed tens of thousands of people overnight. Therefore, time flies away in an instant, and along with this, humans are getting old and dying in the blink of an eye. So don't waste your time and love. Don't be shy and enjoy your youth. Get married. These subjects are popular among poets from the Renaissance era. I also wrote this poem meaning that virgins and young people in a broad sense should cherish the precious time of youth and live happily.
First, how do you want your readers to understand the phrase old time in your poem?
I personify old time as an old man, always chasing humans and eventually leading to death. I want the readers to understand that this is the image of an infinite world of time as an old man.
Then it goes to the next question. In your poem, roses indicate seeking pleasure. However, we know that you were a pastor. How can you recommend virgins to seek pleasure who are trying to keep their virginal purity?
As I said earlier, I was a poet even though I was a pastor. As a poet, I wondered whether I should teach people a lesson or keep my headquarters as a pastor. But I felt sorry for the outbreak of the Black Death and the fact that the young girls and young people ended their lives without enjoying their youth, so I decided to use this expression as a poet.
The final question is, at the first look of the poem, I think it pretty opens to misleading otherwise. So, is it right that you recommend people or to the virgins to be an Epicurean, one who seeks pleasure and to be inclined to luxury because the time is short?
It's not just saying to them go totally crazy, although the poem ostensibly said gather the rosebuds, go marry when you can get married. This is to stress that love in your youth is as precious as it is.
Thank you for answering all the questions, and we prepared some people's opinion about your poem to the virgins to make much of time. We asked 3 people that what comes to your mind when you first read this poem. Are you ready to listen, Herrick?
Great. I always wonder how people saw about it. When I first read the poem, I thought people could interpret it from person to person or from time to time. One might have interpreted virgin as a virgin only, meaning that the virgin should enjoy their youth proudly and marry when they can marry. Another might interpret virgin as a young person, meaning that all young people should cherish youth and seize the time it flows. Now most women are more self-expressed than they were in the past, and marriage is on their own volition when they want to. That's why I felt that the phrase "don't be shy about girls, use your time and get married" was out of line with the modern era. But the poem's essential argument for enjoying youth, a carpe diem, was impressive, as it seemed to represent the YOLO life that many people wanted.
This poem reminded me of the poem called The Flea by John Donne, both implying the theme of carpe diem, seize the day. So it was really interesting how they expressed the same theme with different writing styles. Considering the time period, bubonic plague killing almost everyone, I think all the contents of To the Virgins to Make Much of Time is not only limited to the virgins, but to everyone. There might have been something like depressed atmosphere all over the country, people all scared by the horrible disease. I think he is telling people not to be carried along by that depressed mood and to seek pleasure because humans actually don't know when they will die. Life is a race against time, so it is important how we live the present in the flying hours. I like his writing, like how he encouraged people by words in that serious time. Like what he suggested, I am going to do what I really want to do.
It's a great honor to hear people's opinion about my poem. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming, Mr. Herrick. Hope you write more poems and give pleasure to people.